You are watching Xirtus.
Money.
Yes, it's about money, and I'm not sure how well this relates to the other topics in that section, but probably does somehow. What's funny is that, especially for Austria, they often say, "Oh, in Austria, individuals are, even on average,
Oh,
strangely
we got it.
enough, they are so, how should I say, medical intervention hesitant in terms of inoculations, like historically speaking." And they also say that Austrians and maybe Germans to some extent are very hesitant to adopt digital payment systems.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting. It almost seems like the mainland of Europe, at least the Austrian-speaking countries, or sorry, German-speaking countries, are, how do you call that? Like, let's just say very conservative in terms of wanting to progress down the lanes that are being proposed. So I just wanted to point that out, but you can go on to the next one. That's how the section is called ARM, East Thuria. It's not about the microprocessor architecture, which I guess only you and I thought about here anyways. But what I wanted to show is that you have these individuals in Austria. For example, Kathrin Glock. She is the heiress to the Glock company. Glock, which makes the pistols
Right.
and the small arms. And from what I understand, they even supply the US police forces or something like that. So it's quite famous. And all made me think of is like, yeah, well, makes sense. If Germany and Austria are remote colonies, then of course you also give them some heavy industry or whatever, to obfuscate and whatever else. And what I just wanted to point out here, what's so funny, because before she took over the company, she had this horse breeding, which I guess is also a, interesting thing. Also historically, of course, with the horses and the Ottoman and so on. And she built like a racetrack. And what I just find so cute is that at the here you can see she's big in animal welfare. So there is one very famous animal welfare institution for like animals that are sick or something. And the cool thing is, basically, she can run a weapons company, then at the side support the most famous of these animal welfare places, and then look at the bottom. Yeah, here are the awards. Look at this. She's got all these awards of how amazing and social and so on she is. Never mind, she's running an arms company. Yeah. See, 2015, this is great. Go up a bit. Prix de l'Humanité. This is the prize of humanity or humanitarian prize. Yeah. Of course, badge of honor for breast cancer aid. I mean, it's such an incredible clown show. It's amazing. Yes, here you have the weapons dealer Glock.
They make really nice
Officially Austrian.
little guns they make there. They're good. Steyr, Daimler, Puch.
Yeah, and these I just wanted to bring up because this is another arms manufacturer from Austria. So just in case you guys wonder where the weapons are coming from, a few of them are actually manufactured in Austria. And I think they even make tanks maybe, or certain military vehicles. So I just find it kind of funny because Austria, of course, technically, officially, not really, but officially is a neutral country, right? After the Second World War, it was occupied by France, Britain, America, and Russia, of course.
I want one of these. This seems like a fun little thing to go around with.
And these so-called allies, so we call them the Siegermächte, so the victory powers, are giving the security guarantee to ensure that Austria remains neutral. But seen in a different way, maybe that's exactly the reason why they allowed them to continue manufacturing arms, because it's an officially neutral country, so they can export their weapons to all of the different nations. So every few years, they can fight each other or whatever. So I just find it kind of hilarious that you proclaim your country to be so neutral and all of that, but you're literally producing weapons. And of course, especially
For
with the
everybody.
First Amendment and with an armed populace, there is something by now that I can understand in that vein. But of course, most often how should I say? It's just questionable if weapons are always truly only used in self-defense, and how often are they used in some kind of fudged wars or oppressive types of policing and all of that. So yeah.
If everyone can buy it, that's just fine, right? They clearly made some cool stuff in the 30s and 20s, so I'm into it. All right. Guten Nacht, Österreich mit Peter Klein.
Yes, so you can pause it. You can go to minute 7 and 20 seconds, and please put on the CC.
Minute and 20 minute. How far?
7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay.
And turn on the CC. And wait before you play it. So this guy basically is the Timu version of, I always forget their names. Which are these comedians in America? Which have this kind of shows that look exactly the same.
Jon Stewart and stuff, or Jimmy Fallon, or
yeah, these kind of guys. So he's like, you have these type of supposedly comedy shows which have heavy political bias and only serve to distract you. They are also franchised out, at least in the Western countries. You have Böhmermann in Germany, who is of course bigger because it's German, and then you have your local Austrian budget version. Even if they ever pan the camera towards the studio, there's literally like, if you're lucky, there's like 50 people sitting there on like 10 rows up and 5 like this, or 5 columns, 10 rows or whatever. It's kind of hilarious. But here, so there was a big scandal, and it's still, to me, unclear how many individuals were actually involved in this. This was about securing the airspace for Austria in early 2000s. They had the idea that this had to be done. There were some strange things going on with the bidding process and all kinds of other big questions, where even individuals that may seem politically opposed or whatever potentially may actually be related. But this, what I just said now, this I really only got from some small-time blogs, but that, to me, that only gives it more credibility. But even officially, there were huge scandals about this and what kind of deals are being made, how much contracts are being done. Basically they said, oh, buy these fighters and then you will get extra business from us or something like this. But here, what I just wanted to show is basically 20 seconds on CC, where because they're now saying, oh, we want to upgrade the Eurofighters, even the name Eurofighters, and especially Austria is so small. I mean, I would totally just lease them from Switzerland or something. For me, it's completely insane that we would even have this. For what and for whom? But yeah, here, basically, they say they now want to upgrade the system. Yeah, and here we can read it. US technology is also installed in the Austrian Eurofighter. And now they're asking one of the generals in Austria, could the US also paralyze our Eurofighters at the push of a button? I don't want to answer that question.
Wow.
So much for Austria being neutral.
Oh, oh my God.
Because now, basically 20 years or yet almost 20 years after we bought them, they're now discussing to upgrade them with what? With night vision goggles. So apparently, supposedly, these super expensive weapon systems didn't even have proper night vision installed. And then you're wondering if all the world is a stage and if everything is a joke. Well,
they might have had like poor night vision or something like that's different, like maybe we have better digital night vision than we used to, and for the longest time we were using literal optic lenses, and each one of those headsets is like $20,000 or something like that just to wear, not even counting what they would be on like something that has to see like vast distances. But okay,